I'm ready for you to kiss me.
Um, after season one, Megan really, started thinking about how she could expand this world. And one of the things that she knew that she wanted to sort of introduce was a different type of relationship and talking about, an age difference and what comes along with that. And so she's, started to center it around a professor at the college. And then as they started to sort of chip away at who this character was, I was a couple of weeks into the room and Megan came to me and said, "Would you be interested in playing this guy?" And I said yes, because I think she's phenomenal. The show's fantastic. It's got a great cast in it. And, the opportunity to work with Kat was like something that I just thought was great because I think Bree is just a brilliant character. And the idea that she'd get a lot more to do this season and that I'd get to play alongside that, there was a lot of kind of no-brainers about doing it. I wasn't condoning of the character by any stretch, but I kind of like really was want to be part of this story and this storytelling for sure.
think I think it's a sort of desperation. They meet when Bree is already in this kind of vulnerable state. Things aren't going well with her relationship with Evan, and she feels kind of isolated even in her friendships. Like, I think she's just very misunderstood. And it's kind of the perfect storm. I mean, she's cheated on and she retaliates. And I think this man is like the perfect person for that. And I think in doing that, she starts to feel like she's, entered this new kind of like world. I think she thinks that it's like amazing that this older, educated man is interested in her. And it's really sad. It's really heartbreaking. Um, I think she's just playing out these dynamics, which she had like, based on things that she hasn't dealt with. And I think she also feels like she's getting him to open up. I think she feels like it's a two-way dynamic, which obviously we come to find out later down the line that maybe some things aren't as they seem. But in that time and place, yeah, I think she's feeling like there's a real possibility for a relationship to continue.
I didn't want to think too much about, I mean, obviously I understood that from an outsider's perspective looking in, but when it came to playing Oliver, I didn't want to think of it too much like that.
Yeah.
I wanted it to appear like two humans connecting, and the age wasn't an issue, and the power imbalance wasn't an issue, and there was no abuse of position or anything like that. Worst case scenario, I'm a guy cheating on my wife. That's sort of how I sort of had to be in order to kind of service the story, I suppose.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously there are so many things about Oliver that I just think are deplorable. And I think, the reason that Megan wanted to tell this sort of story was to touch on that, to touch on about the power imbalance and about sexual dynamics within this environment, and also to sort of flag up that this happened in 2008, and since then the conversation about these things has really evolved, and the nuance about these things has really evolved. But this is happening in a time when people were not encouraged to speak up, and when people do speak up, there are people that telling them they shouldn't do, or they invited this kind of behaviour, or all the other stuff and tropes that we used to hear about, things like this. So yeah, I didn't want to get too like caught up in that side of stuff. It was only when I sort of finished the work and I went home and really thought about Oliver's actions that I really felt sick to my stomach. But I had to kind of disassociate a little bit and desensitize to that in order to kind of, play this. But yeah, you look at it, in retrospect, and it's like, yeah, there is an element of grooming that happens here. He does know better. This person is without even knowing the nuances of Bree's character, they are in a vulnerable position in their life. They're younger, they're in education, and he knows better. But I had to sort of forget all of that in order to do it. I think he is very good at manipulating, but when I say he's very good at doing it, he does it in a way where it feels like the other person is making a discovery. And the other person is like coming up with the ideas. And I think, that's probably Oliver's superpower in a really weird, fucked up way.
Well, I think she's really just looking for validation in the fact that this is a legitimate relationship. Because I think in her heart of hearts, she's not stupid. I mean, she's very much an aware character. She's able to kind of see the bigger picture, but she's so desperate. She's so wrapped up in what she's needing right then and there. And Oliver is giving her all of the things to make her feel better. And I think she turns to Lucy as a way to kind of, get some guidance. And I think, the way that plays out is pretty, it's a pretty telling, trope about this character. It's like she always, looks for the truth, and then when she gets it, she doesn't want to actually hear it. Or she doesn't want to like really pay attention, but she's smart and she knows, she knows. And I think that's what's so interesting about the show in general, is that you watch these characters kind of like make the same mistakes over and over again. And it's a really relatable thing because you see that play out in your own life, and the lessons we have to learn, like take a couple times, damage can be done before something is really learned there. And so I think it's a really interesting dynamic, with her friends and who kind of is there for her, who maybe doesn't approve, who she feels like she can't turn to. It's pretty telling. That's a tough question. I think forgiveness is a tricky, like, I wouldn't say necessarily that Bree forgives anyone for anything. I think she's the type of person that represses and what's the word when you like box something and put it away? Compartmentalizes. And yeah, I think we'll have to just watch and see what happens, and who knows, maybe if there's another season we'll get to see that play out.